I went to college to be I studied physics and engineering for 2 years, and the whole time I was doing that, I was cooking at the same time, and I really enjoyed the cooking part, and the rest of it, I didn't enjoy, and I couldn't really see myself doing that for the rest of my life. I went to the Art Institute of Houston for culinary arts, but I really think that my training was in New York City. I moved to New York about a month after I graduated from culinary school. Didn't know anybody in the city, just knew that if I wanted to be a chef, that was the place to be. I spent a lot of time doing a lot of different things there. I tried to get the most out of it. I owned an Italian restaurant on the Upper West Side. It was a lot more of your neighborhood Italian, red saucy kind of place. And we found in Austin that people expect a little more. I married my wife in New York City, and we had a kid, and we really just wanted the child to be able to experience a lot of things that you wouldn't get to see in New York. Austin has kind of a young food scene happening here, and there's a lot of fun things happening. There's a lot of farms that are really close to the city and some that are even in the city, which make it a really nice place for a chef to be. I can drive 5 minutes away from here and go to 3 different farms and get whatever I need. So it makes it a lot more fun for a chef. I'd like to think of Sagra as your typical Italian restaurant probably 70 years ago. Whenever we make a dish, we first try to see if we can get it from close to here. And really, I think that embodies the restaurant. It's really important to us that we be a part of the community. And I think the best way to describe Sagra is it's a very traditional farmhouse restaurant. We have a greenhouse in South Austin where we grow a lot of our own tomatoes and all of our own fresh herbs. I really like tomatoes, and I really despise bad tomatoes. And with the greenhouse, it gives me the control over what kind of tomatoes we grow, how many different variations. Right now we're growing 20 different types of tomatoes. They're all heirloom varieties. We get different types of tomatoes different times of the year, but because of the greenhouse, we have fresh tomatoes all year round. I think it makes this restaurant really something special and something different. The way that I cook here, or the way that it's really more about what's available. It's kind of like Michelangelo with the marble and letting the angel out. You know, every day different people bring us different things that they have. You know, the farm will say, oh, we have zucchini blossoms, and the fish purveyors will say, oh, well, we've caught all this swordfish. So on that particular day, I think that the greatest thing that I cook is the stuffed swordfish with the fried zucchini blossoms and the cauliflower risotto. I like ingredients that speak for themselves. I like it when a farmer comes and says, you know, these are eggplants that I'm working on. You know, we've been trying 4 different kinds, and this, I think, is the best eggplant I've ever had. And I don't really know that I have a favorite ingredient. I mean, I couldn't live without pasta. I think pasta is one of the greatest ingredients for anything. I mean, straight pasta, if a pasta is made well with just a little salt on it and a little butter, it's one of the greatest dishes ever. And if you add truffles to it, it is the greatest dish ever. I think one of my strengths in the kitchen is that before I have started anything, I have cooked the food in my head 4 or 5 times. I have figured out every different way something could go wrong. Not that I necessarily write it all down, but I know from experience, and I know from the way that life works, every different possibility of everything before I've started it. I feel like when I walk in the morning, I've done half the work because I know exactly what I need to do, but I also know if something's gone wrong, I know what I have to do then also. I think now if people were to ask what my area of expertise would be, it would be making good Italian food. I'm very proud of what we do here. We do everything from scratch. Most people go for the easier route. And not that the product isn't as good, but really here we think it's important that we make everything, and it's worth it in the end. I mean, really, we pride ourselves in, I can tell you the first name of the person who made 90% of the products in the restaurant. Whether it be the prosciutto from Italy or the cheese from the guy down the street. I mean, really, we're that close to them, and we actually put forth the effort to make these contacts, just so we can say, you know, I spoke to the gentleman who makes this prosciutto. I mean, it's that important to us that we know everything about our food. I take this very seriously. I mean, this is my whole life. It's not uncommon for me to be here from 7 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. So I expect a lot out of myself and everybody who I work with. To get to this restaurant, you have to want to come to this restaurant. It's not on a busy street. It's not like you're walking by and you're hungry. You actually come here for the experience. And I think that adds a lot to it. I tell the cooks, you know, it's not if it's good enough to serve to the customers. It's good enough if it's to serve to your grandmother or to serve to, you know, whoever you care about most. It's not, we really, you know, this is that kind of restaurant. You know, you have to be able to say, you know, I made this. Feeding people makes me happy.
I like that. Okay, I think we're good.
Great.